What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. We've been doing global Peace Tribe shows for 6.5 years. And one of the wonderful things is we now have annual traditions. And one of the great annual traditions is honoring the Mary Magdalene Feast Day. And we're going to learn all about what that means. The whole show is dedicated to that. And I wanted to mention something that I've observed and a belief that I have about Mary Magdalene. I've come to believe that Mary Magdalene was absolutely Jesus's, or we can call him Yeshua's, equal partner, and that they both together brought in the new vibration, a new frequency. But because we've been living in such a male-dominated paradigm, that literally the divine feminine half of that pair got squashed. I mean, my gosh, the Christian church originally turned her into a prostitute, although thank God they finally have rectified that to some degree. Um, but now, as the rise of the divine feminine is happening on this planet, thank God, because we really need it, I believe that that's why so many people are having direct experiences of Mary Magdalene. So many women that have been on this show are channeling her, getting inspiration from her, having dreams of her. And it's almost as though, just as for 2,000 years, people have been being inspired by Yeshua, now it's balancing out with all this inspiration of Mary Magdalene. So it's an exciting time. That's my own personal perspective about what this all means and what's happening. And my co-host and the person who always co-creates the Magdalene Feast Day is, of course, our beloved Christy Michaels. Welcome back to the Awakening World, Christy.
Thank you so much, Scott. Oh my God. I just love how so open-minded you are to all of this and how supportive you've been. So this is incredible. And if you don't mind, before we even take another step further, I always open, and this is a beautiful candle that Anasuya Isaac gave to me with an acknowledgement of the Dark Mother, because it was the Black Madonna that came in a dream that allowed, suddenly the doors flew open after she came in a dream, and I started to get invited in to speak and to do ritual. So I just want to take this moment of sacredness to start by acknowledging her. I can. Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Oh, blessed be.
And I want to acknowledge we have some wonderful comments that came in from our Zoom room about people's relationships to Mary Magdalene. And it's really, really beautiful how many of you do have relationships with Mary Magdalene. Some of you are still just learning about her. Some of you are intrigued by her. Susan Blomquist writes, I've certainly enjoyed the shows about Mary Magdalene and the various women that come on and talk about her. And our beloved Dana Tomasino shares the same day of being honored, 22. So there you go. And we've got people from all over the United States, England, California, Ecuador. And Janine wrote, I believe Mary Magdalene and Jesus, Yeshua, are twin flames, and that she is also a master. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I believe as well. Jonathan writes, blessings on this Magdalene feast day from Eugene, Oregon. Grateful to be with us. Happy to see you, Christy. And
Thank you.
so thank you, everybody, for being with us in this room. Thank you, everybody, watching on Facebook and YouTube. And, you know, we always start our show with our beloved house musical artist, Omashar, to get us moving and grooving.
Yes, Mary Magdalene. Mother, I offer my love to you for the healing of the people. Mother, I offer my love to you for the healing of our earth. We're healing the people. We're healing the people. We're healing the earth. Mother, I offer my thanks to you for the life that I've been given. Mother, I offer my thanks to you for the love that I behold. I'm so grateful to be here, so grateful for your love, so grateful to be here, so grateful for your love. Mother, what more can we do now for the healing of our people? Mother, what more can we do now for the healing of the earth?
Let's give thanks to Omashar. He will be with us throughout the evening. And thank you, brother. Beautiful. And I love that background. Tell us a little bit about that background.
It's the six goddesses, and they are a divine mother looking over the earth. Oh, there we go. At the whole of the earth and bringing back the divine mother's love, pushing it, let's say rolling it out again, because I don't think that any of us really know what true love is. When you finally, for me, I do a daily call to the mother, and to help me reacquaint what true love is, not the love that I thought that it was. And it's amazing. It's almost overpowering, because I forgot in my heart truly how to love, Anyway, whatever. That is my representation of that. And I'm so grateful to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I got so excited at the beginning of the show. I forgot to mention that we are having with us live tonight Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy. We're going to hear from her in a few minutes. And we have pre-records with Elaine Kalila and our beloved Eden Amadora, including a couple of songs from Eden. And in a moment, Christy is going to introduce Diana and Dan, but I also want to acknowledge someone who's in our audience who actually it's Elizabeth Kelly. She didn't know that I was going to do this, so it might be a bit of a surprise. But Elizabeth, you were the very first person that I actually began to learn about Mary Magdalene from. So I just want to acknowledge you as a teacher for myself and so many of us, and for someone who has held this lineage and this teaching so beautifully for so long. So I'm delighted to see you in our audience tonight, and I wanted to acknowledge you.
Thank you very much, Scott. And I definitely want to acknowledge you for your incredible commitment to this work. You've been doing this for years. And, I think you deserve lots of acknowledgement.
Thank you.
And so does Omashar.
Yeah.
So you do great programs, even though I'm not here all the time. In my heart of hearts, I really acknowledge both of you and your dedication and love. So you project love.
And I also want to jump in, Scott, and contribute to this, because Elizabeth is who got me started in all of this, and she sparked my spark. So
in the beginning, there was Elizabeth Kelly, and it was good.
yes, it was good.
And it was good. All right. Thank you all.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
All right, Christy,
And
take
happy
it
to be
away.
here.
All right. Well, I have the great joy and the great privilege of introducing my dear beloved friends, Diana Kelly Morris, the new bride, with her partner, Dan Morris. And they have been such a powerful influence in my life. We didn't even know why we were galvanizing together, but it was all around the Holy Sophia and who and what she is. So I was so drawn to their work and so drawn to their deep dedication. And Dan is the author of a wonderful book called The Divine Spark Within. And he's joined by his beloved wife, who's a ceremonialist and a wisdom keeper and devoted to the awakening of the divine feminine. But talk about devoted. These people are deeply rooted in decades of spiritual practice and on a path of both Eastern wisdom and Christian mysticism. So I really honor and celebrate you guys for your contribution. It's just outstanding. And so anyway, thank you. I wanted them to open to help bring forth what is in us, which is this prayer to the Holy Sophia. So they said that they would do that for me. They just got married and they were so busy, but they managed to make it happen. And we are in for a real treat, because you're talking about source directed, source connected transmission. So hold on to your seats, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Christy.
Yes, and thank you for, anchoring all of these feast days for so many years.
Yeah.
And It's a real honor to be here.
And we met at one of your events in 2016.
Yes. So
Yes.
so Diana, who really is an embodiment of the Sophia and the Mary, is going to read a prayer, and she will explain that. But I thought it might be helpful to just give a brief introduction to what is the relationship between Mary Magdalene and Sophia, since the connection is obscure and kind of hard to track down. So Christianity, as found in the Bible, has been overwhelmingly dominant when it comes to stories of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. However, another tradition that grew alongside Christianity in the first few centuries AD, generally called Gnosticism, described how Jesus taught more esoteric or secret teachings, and these were preserved in texts that were later suppressed and largely lost. According to several of these Gnostic texts, most notably the 2nd century Gospel of Mary, Mary Magdalene appears to have been a prominent member of Jesus's inner circle and the disciple with whom Jesus shared his deeper teachings. This was written centuries before Pope Gregory I identified Mary as the repentant prostitute. These early Gnostic writings, in contrast, portray Mary as an advanced practitioner of this path, this way of love that Jesus promoted, and suggests that the relationship between Jesus and Mary extended beyond just being teacher-student or companions on the road. So, on the other hand, Sophia, the Greek word for wisdom, is the name given to a divine feminine being who plays a central role in these mystery teachings. According to the Gnostic tradition, there is a higher Sophia associated with the Holy Spirit who is present with the earliest emanation of creation. And then there is a lower Sophia, or daughter, sometimes called Pistis Sophia, who is the central figure in a creation and redemption story revealed primarily by Jesus in these texts. In this unique story of origins, the divine nature of Jesus, known as the Christ, is paired with Sophia in a cosmic drama of love and restoration. And Christ Sophia work together to seed and awaken the divine form within humanity, known as the Anthropos. In the largest of the Gnostic texts, the Pistis Sophia, Mary Magdalene speaks extensively about Sophia, and Jesus praises her as one who has fully grasped these mysteries. He tells her, "Mary, blessed one, whom I will perfect in all mysteries, speak openly. You whose heart is raised to the kingdom of heaven more than all of your brethren." From this, we can see that Mary Magdalene is an embodiment of Holy Sophia. Sophia is the Divine Mother, and Mary is an astounding example of how we all can step into our divine nature and awaken to our higher potential. Together, the historical Mary and the cosmic Sophia, paired with their divine masculine counterparts, serve as way-showers, guardians of the mysteries, and midwives to the next stage of human spiritual evolution.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Diana's going to read, or she's going to recite her prayam and describe that, and I'm going to go play piano as a backdrop to
Yes.
her doing this.
So just a brief description of what a prayam is. It's where prayer and poetry meet. Each prayam is an invocation and a blessing. To me, they are a sacred conversation, a dialogue between the human heart and the divine. I write them to be spoken out loud, often with music, as Dan will be playing the piano, because something changes when they're spoken out loud and they become something we enter, and the music assists with that process. They invite us into the quiet space between the words, where the silence becomes part of the prayer. So as I speak and Dan plays, I invite you into that quiet space between words, to listen with your heart and allow the words and the music to work through you, speak to your own soul, and just help you meet the divine within yourself. You may want to close your eyes and just fully receive this transmission. Beloved Magdalene, daughter of Sophia, you walked the ancient paths with a spacious heart. You listened with wisdom. You kept watch. You trusted that love was at work, even when all seemed lost. Sophia found a home in you. She whispered through your listening, breathed through your compassion, and wrapped herself in your courage and unwavering devotion. Wisdom came alive in you. You became a teacher, a prophetess, a witness, a living testament that true authority is born through intimacy with the divine, through gnosis. You ask the harder, deeper questions. You welcome the mysteries that can only be fully known by entering them. Your soul became adept at the language of spirit, prophecy and revelation, a daily practice. You became the apostle of the apostles, a witness and a carrier of Christ Sophia. Your voice flowed like a river from the mouth of Holy Sophia. Her wisdom, a steady rhythm, beating your heart with coherent vibrations of love. Your life, an invitation, a roadmap for awakening and embodying the divine within. May we remember the world is still waiting for those who trust direct encounter, who speak because love and wisdom are married within them, who remain when others leave, whose authority comes from intimacy with the sacred. Magdalene, may your life remind us that holy wisdom is still calling us, seeking open hearts. May we cultivate the stillness that hears the divine calling us by name. May we each become living vessels, the embodied Sophia, allowing her to think through our minds, to love through our hearts, and serve through our hands, speaking with courage, listening with wonder. May we teach with humility and integrity in the way we live our lives. May we prophesy through our actual presence and the way we meet the world. May we offer ourselves to the quiet, unassuming work of healing, remembering, and awakening, until the world once again recognizes her face, the face of Sophia, holy wisdom, walking among us in flesh and bones and blood. Bless us, beloved Magdalene, that we may recognize the Christ Sophia that is calling to each of us. And upon hearing that voice, may we bear witness to the balance of love and holy wisdom that is being birthed in the world now through us. May the human heart and Holy Sophia be welcomed back into relationship once again. Amen.
Just take a moment to breathe all that in. A beautiful, beautiful invocation. For those of you who want to learn more about this incredible lineage of the Holy Sophia and the relationship to the Gnostic works, we've actually featured Dan and Diana previously on the show talking about this topic, but I encourage you to go to the website. It's inlightofsophia.com. There's different classes that you can take there, and they really are among the amazing people on this planet of really bringing this understanding, this lineage into our consciousness. It's really, truly your divine mission, and you're doing a beautiful job with it. So, and is there anything you'd like to share with our audience about your offerings?
Yeah, just upcoming class in September, and we're really holding space for this work to incubate in us as we bring in some of the teachings and also just the soul work, the depth work, sometimes the grit work that corresponds to the higher embodiment, you know, and the divine work.
Yeah, and the embodiment piece is really important right now to those of us that have been on our paths for a very long time. It's something that we have the opportunity to do right now in these times. So we'll go into what does that look like? What does that mean? How do we clear our vessel to be able to embody more and more of the divinity? So Mary Magdalene, for example, and Mother Mary were two very high embodiments of Sophia. And they were holding the Sophianic energy to a very high degree. So they are mentors for us. And so I really like my relationship with them at this point is as mentors. Because it's our turn now to do this.
Well, since you talk about mentorship, I'm also noticing on your website that you and Dan are teaching uh, cultivating sacred relationship. And certainly you are a beautiful model of a couple. So if any of you are interested in getting coaching and support from them, again, you can find it. You just go to the website inlightofsophia.com and then just click where it says conscious relationships. Um, and I'm imagining or relationship coaching actually is the tab. Um, so thank you both for your amazing devotion and doing this important work. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Beautiful.
You know, speaking of devotion, the next person that I get to bring on to the stage, if you will, is someone who's been on the show many, many times. And I have, again, tremendous respect for her. I am talking about Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy. And every time she speaks about these matters, she does so with, well, we just talked about embodiment. And, you know, we are at a time where, you know, Melissa, earlier in my life, all my friends, all my spiritual friends wanted to get out of their bodies. It was all about getting out of the body, right? Through drugs or meditation or whatever it was. But of course, the teachers now that I really respect, it's all about embodiment, being in the body temple, fully embodying it. And I just want to acknowledge you as somebody who walks the talk and embodies that which you teach. So thank you for being with us. And I'm looking forward to sharing what you have to say with our audience.
Thank you so much, Scott. I am so delighted to be here. And you know, the preparation for this evening came from a question that actually Christy brought forward, and it was, can you share with the people why you changed your name? And you know, it can be kind of a small question, but it's a very big answer. So I'll start with that because I've been thinking a lot about that. But then about a quarter of the way through, I'm going to transition. We're going to be opening to a transmission, a channeling from Mary Magdalene. I was just in meditation with her earlier. There was a lot that was coming through. So I'm very excited to see what actually comes through today on her feast day. So the first thing I want to drop into is that what we're talking about here this evening is the embodiment of Sophia. And I just want to say thank you, Dan and Diana, for doing such an impeccable, amazing job of opening us to what that means and how Mary Magdalene embodied Sophia and how we are being invited now to embody this energy at a deeper level. And I'm just going to share a little bit about my background and how I got here and how I actually changed my name to Sophia. I have a mystery school called Sophia Healing Academy. Why did I do that and what's up with that? So many years ago, this path opened to me through mystical revelation, multiple levels of mystical revelation. One of the big things that happened to me is that I was awakened in the middle of the night with a vision of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. They told me it was time to remember and then to share with others what I remember. And at that point, I didn't know what I was going to be remembering. But a few days later, Mary Magdalene started coming to me in my meditations and teaching me this very powerful practice that later on I discovered through more visions and rememberings that I taught as an early Christ teacher before Rome got involved. And, you know, when Mary Magdalene was alive and afterward. So the essence of this teaching helps us to heal, to transform the densities inside of us, whether that be through a somatic contraction or a negative part, program, negative voice. Basically, what I've been shown is that our ego contractions keep us from remembering who we are, remembering that we are divine humans. And so through this process, for myself, what happened first is that I went through years of healing and initiation after one level after another. And as I was coming into a deep understanding of this practice that she shared with me, that I was told used to be called the abiding of the Holy Spirit, and now has been formed for modern day called somatic awakening. As I was actually coming into deeper relationship with that, I went into a meditation retreat, a multi-day meditation retreat, totally silent, many hours of meditation per day. And my primary intention was to bring this work, which is connected to how we connect to our higher self, how the divine flows through our higher self, and bring that into the depths of our shadow that keeps us from remembering who we truly are. So by the afternoon of the first day, I was deep in my shadow work. Like everything you can imagine from this lifetime was coming up like left and right and left and right. But fortunately, I also had the support of Mary Magdalene, of Mother Mary, of Yeshua being there, supporting me, guiding me, saying, okay, open this way, bring this in, transform it that way, hold the love here, hold more love here. And it just kept on going day after day after day. And by the last full day, I had gotten to the place where I was no longer working with information and density from this lifetime. That had shifted days prior. But what was going on now is that I was working with the densest energy you could possibly imagine that was connected to multiple past lives. It was also connected to collective consciousness. And I had been doing this work for hours and hours and hours, for days and days on end, and I was about to crack. Like literally, it felt like my psyche was about to crack. I could not handle it anymore because it was the densest material you can imagine. Like the most intense trauma, victimization, pain, torture, all these things that not only myself, but many of us have experienced. And so right when I was getting ready to give up, right when I could not handle any more, what happened was that the deep darkness was shattered in this huge, brilliant white light started pouring into me from the depths of my pelvis, from my soul, from my womb, and it filled my awareness. And this huge booming female voice said, I am here. I have always been here, and I have always loved you, and I will love you forever and ever. Amen. And at that moment, not only did I hear the words, I felt the words, and my being completely transformed. As you can imagine, I was completely bawling. And I had moved to the deepest level of surrender that I could possibly ever imagine, because now I knew that the divine was within. And as I started integrating this totally life-changing experience more and more, I started coming more and more into intimate contact with the divine coming from within me, the Sophia energy coming from within me. And because my experience with Sophia is very intimate, it's very personal, it's coming from visions, I like to speak from that experience versus what I've read. That's a beautiful thing, to dive into the Gospels and the Gnostic Gospels, and that hold so much. But from this personal experience, I realized there was nothing that could shake that empowered grounding to know that the divine is within me. And as I unfolded more and more into this experience, I could feel through resonance and through understanding and through vision that the divine is within all of us. And we could call it the divine feminine within every single being. We can call it the divine mother within every single being. And Sophia, to me, is the name of divine mother, but she has many names. So it doesn't really matter from what I have been shown, because she is within all of us. She loves us eternally, on and on and on and on. However, in order to make contact with her at this deep level inside of us, we have to transform. not because we're not good enough, but because the voices of not good enough say that we don't have the ability to make that contact. The ego, in its actual core, believes that we are separate. So we have to do enough work to actually transform, to soften, to allow, to dissolve the density so that we can awaken to more experiences of divine consciousness. I don't believe that we awaken once, amen. I think some people do, very few, but some people do. But mostly we have many, many, many different awakening experiences where we come into this connection with the divine. For instance, we understand, feel, sense the divine talking to us. We can feel the divine. We understand that we are all one with the divine. Those types of experiences, as we build more and more, then we move into the embodiment that Diana was talking about. This embodiment of the divine frequency living through us so that we are both human, because the human existence doesn't leave, but we also know that we are divine. It is the true essence of Heros Gamos, the true sacred union, not just from externally, but from within. And this is what I teach. I teach many levels of healing and awakening, but ultimately it's all about moving into this embodiment work, this deep, deep, deep understanding, knowing, feeling, sensing, having what I call the clairgnosis, the intuitive knowing of the divine within us. So I have a feeling that Mary Magdalene is going to be talking about that this evening on some level. So let's go ahead and switch gears. And so I always set up, even though we've had an invocation that Diana so beautifully said, I'm going to do just a little bit of an energetic invocation here for us to get us set up, and then we'll begin. And it's going to be a pretty short channeling today. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water. If you're thirsty at all, I invite you to drink, because being hydrated really helps you receive the energy. And Scott, she's given you a permission to interrupt if if we go too long here. All right, so I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes if you'd like. Take a few deep breaths in. We're going to start with a little grounding, because the more grounded you are, the more you can receive these high vibrations. So go ahead and bring your awareness down to the base of your spine. Take a nice deep breath in, and then on that exhale, just feel and sense that your grounding cord is moving down into the earth with ease and with grace. Because we have a time frame, we're going to move at a pretty quick level here. So just feel your awareness moving all the way down, connecting into the core of the earth. Take a moment to click in there, connecting into the center of the core, what I call the heart womb space. Feel yourself there being held in this love and nurturing recalibration. Take a deep breath in and out. And then on that next inhale, go ahead and bring your awareness all the way back up into your feet, calves, thighs, the base of your spine, and feel your awareness now moving into your heart space, just allowing your heart to relax, to move into this spacious coherence. And from here, let's set the space even more. From here, we call in Supreme Being, Divine Mother, Divine Father, all that is between us and around us, holding and consecrating this space as safe, sacred, and holy. We open the channels for the highest connection, the highest unification with beloved Mary Magdalene. I open this channel specifically for you now, dear mother, teacher, mentor, friend. So I'm going to be quiet now, and the next time I speak, we're going to be in transmission. Beloved, I am here. The first thing I want you to know is that I am with you, each one of you, individually, whether you're here live or watching later. I am here, right here with you. I invite you to feel me and my support of you. For those of you who say yes to this alignment, my support of your life, my support of your heart, of your healing, your evolution, your awakening, and your embodiment. Many of you are so deeply connected. You have been living in alignment with your soul, connecting to your soul mission, whether that is through some of you, I perceive, coming into connection with your soul mission right now, whatever that is. That does not mean that it has to be something doing. It is a vibration. Connecting with your soul mission, living your soul mission, executing your soul mission. And I want to talk most now to those who have been deeply committed over years, over lifetimes. Beloved, you are all in a very fast-moving river of evolution of humanity. You know this. It continues to move faster and faster and faster every year. Some of you have been giving and giving and giving, so much so that it can feel like you're rolling a boulder up a hill, working so hard, giving so much of yourself to this evolution, to your own consciousness, your own healing, your own transformation, and to the world. And to you especially, I have a message, and it is this. This point in time, this juncture of this divine awareness that you have lived, that you have awakened to, that you are opening to, and this intention of bringing it to the world, however you do that, and all the intentions that you've been holding, and even the places where the ego has pushed or forced or rushed or struggled. You are now in the next evolution of your embodiment by letting go of the struggle, by deeply nurturing the soul exhaustion, by allowing what is already yours to come to you. And as you soften the edges of the ego that forces or tries, that pushes, that exhausts you, that allows you to remember that this is a marathon of evolution that you can now rest in. Love, as I invite you now just to lay back on the river and let the river carry you. There's no need for the ego to try or force. That doesn't mean that you give up the action. What it means is now you step deeper into this embodiment of the divine that carries you. So you can soften into this relaxation. You can feel what it's like just to lay on your back in this buoyant waters of the divine, to be carried into what is already yours. The love, the wisdom, the abundance, the success, and all that your soul is calling forward, all that you are. The manifestation of this soul mission is completely aligned with this next level of divine embodiment. So, in order to do so, I want to say one more thing, and that is to look, to be with, to come into partnership with, from a divine perspective, relationship with that which still pushes, that which still forces, that which believes it's still in charge. As you do that, and as its hands open, everything flows with more ease and grace. I'm so delighted to share this message with you, beloved, because it brings in this flow. It allows you not only to be in more ease, but also it allows you to step more into your powerful divine embodiment so that you can live the light of your soul and your spirit, can be a beacon, a full beacon to those around you and to yourself, so that you can be a tower. Magdalene has many meanings. One of the meanings is tower. And there was no way that I could have done what I did if my ego was forcing or pushing. So, beloved, I invite you into this present time, energetic vibration of your light. The parts of you that are already divine, that are already shining, that are a beacon, that are a tower to yourself and to the people around you, to your friends, your family, your community of students, if you are a teacher, the world. Because the more people open to this level of divine embodiment, the more it's just a matter of connecting the dots on the web of light. Each light, the divine remembered and human form. Each light, the divine remembered and human form. And so it is. Amen.
To go to gallery view and give Dr. Melissa a chance to come back into her body. And I actually want to show people her beautiful, beautiful website. And there's some really wonderful gifts here for us. Her website is somatic-awakening.com. Somatic-awakening.com. And I encourage everybody to go there right now and put in your name and your email address, as she's got 4 golden keys to healing, which is a gift that she provides. It's an ebook, so as soon as you do that, you immediately get it and you can download it. And Dr. Melissa, are you back in your body?
I am back.
So tell us a little bit about this beautiful gift you're giving to us.
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to say is I actually have 2 websites. It can be kind of confusing. Somatic-Awakening is my healing practice. I'm a naturopathic doctor, mind, body, spirit specialist. I do a lot of somatic awakening with people. And then Sophia Healing Academy is my mystery school. And the ebook was the first edition of me writing about somatic awakening. And so you really get a taste of what this work is. I actually am in the process of writing another book for publication with many, many chapters, but this is a good first taste. I also have a lot of meditations and writings on sophiahealingacademy.com if you are interested in going deeper. And then I also shared with Scott earlier, I have a Magdalene activation series that I did last year. I love doing it. It was so powerful, where there were 6 videos, and each video highlights an aspect of my relationship and what I have learned about Mary Magdalene's teachings in the world. And this link that Scott's getting ready to share, it actually links you with the first video. And then once you connect to that, then it naturally takes you to the next and next and next video. And it's such a
Have you ever sent
experience.
That was me just pulling up your YouTube channel. So here they are. I put it into the chat box, but for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you go to YouTube and probably if you put in the search bar Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy, then it's going to pop up. And here it is, day 1. This is the best way to start, correct?
Yes, day 1 is the best way to start. Yep.
Okay. And I'm definitely
thank you very much.
Right off the bat, of course.
Yeah.
And the other website that she had talked about, which is the Sophia, not the, just SophiaHealingAcademy.com, SophiaHealingAcademy.com. And that's where you can learn. You also get the free ebook there too. So that's great. I already did that.
Just hit the
there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, of course, is very much in alignment with what we're talking about tonight and what we're doing. And is there any particular space here you want to show people, want me to take people to?
Actually, it's still in the making, but I will tell you what's going on behind the scenes right now. We're very, very busy over here. We're actually creating a membership called the Circle of Remembering, which I love that name because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And that's going to be launched in September. There'll be several different ways you can get connected to that, a wisdom class and many different ways. So if you get on my newsletter list, then you'll be abreast of that. And it's basically a membership that really helps people saturate in this work. And I have specifically priced it in a way so that almost everyone will be able to take advantage of this deep work that has come through Mary Magdalene, but also has multiple different layers of it that is connected to present day healing, because I've been a naturopathic doctor and mind body spirit specialist for 26 years now. I'm aging myself. But yeah, that's going to be coming up in September, the Circle of Remembering.
Okay, so when you go to her website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, click contact, or at the top, click contact, and that's how you can put your name and email address in. I want to join. And definitely make sure you put your email address in, or give her your email address so you can stay updated on all the wonderful things that Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy is doing. Thank you for that beautiful channeling. Thank you for the beautiful awareness that you're bringing to us. And we're going to play a song that really fits with what we just experienced from her. Our beloved friend Eden Amadora was originally going to be the co-host for tonight's show. And she's actually down in Los Angeles right now, even as we speak, where she is negotiating to have her own television show. So I won't say any more than that. Hopefully we'll make a big announcement on the Awakening World about it soon. But that's why she wasn't able to join us tonight. And that kind of came up very spontaneously. But we all know Eden. And we're going to play tonight two of her songs, one now and one a little bit later. So this is a good chance to get up, move to her music. And this is a perfect song. Those of you that are regulars are remembering it. It's She Rises. Oops. Uh-oh.
I've held on too tight for too long, trying to control where I be.
It rolled right into another song there. So She Rises, and I enjoyed watching all of you moving to the music. Thank you very much. Beloveds, Dia, Melissa, Bonnie, Lorna, Elizabeth, all of you who were rising. Thank you so much. And we are going to turn it over now to our beloved Christy to keep moving us forward.
So much, Melissa. That was quite extraordinary. You know, you could just, even the first words of Magdalene spoke, the energetic of it, I just felt my whole heart soften, my whole heart open. So I'm so deeply, because it takes the vessel that you are to allow that kind of embodied energetic to come through. And that is what is so precious. So thank you, my beloved sister, for doing that. And I think actually, Scott, you're going to be doing
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? I couldn't.
Because, well, you know, the thing is, it's wonderful because these beautiful women like Eden and Elaine are now, they also are really dear friends of Scott's. So Scott did an awesome job. You know, Elaine is in Glastonbury. So take it away, Scott. Your interview with her was outstanding. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, so this is an interview that I did on Monday. And as you're going to see, we're going to hear a beautiful story about Elaine Kalila coming to us from Glastonbury. And we're going to learn all about her history with Mary Magdalene and Glastonbury. That's an extraordinary story. And for those of you who don't know Elaine Kalila, she is quite the goddess, quite the priestess, and she could read the yellow pages and make it interesting. She's just got such a beautiful voice and way about her. So here we go. Let's all go to Glastonbury together right now. This is really exciting. We are with Elaine Kalila, who's coming to us from Glastonbury, England, which when I've been to Glastonbury, it's always been some of my most profound moments. And I'm sure this is true for many of you who've had the good fortune to be there. So welcome to our program again. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And of course, tell us, what does Mary Magdalene mean to you? And is there anything, as you carry the Glastonbury energy to us, that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Wow. Well, what an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Scott. And Glastonbury is one of my favorite places on the planet, also known as Avalon, where the veils, the mists part, and it's an incredibly powerful land here. And I've been coming here every year for the last 15 years. I'm originally from the UK. I now live in the US, but has to be one of my top places on the planet. And this place really holds the energy of Mary Magdalene for me. Obviously, there are many spots on the planet, including obviously France and Scotland, which I'm about to go to, by the way. I'm leaving tomorrow on a pilgrimage to Scotland. But there's this power that's in the land here. And there are two springs that run through Glastonbury. One's called the Red Spring, and it's the home of the mother. And it literally comes out of the earth as red iron oxide, and everything around it turns red. And right next door is the White Spring, which is understood to be the masculine energy, the Christ energy, if you will, the Magdalene and the Christ. And the two ley lines that run through Glastonbury are known as the Michael and Mary ley lines, and they actually run from deep, deep south in Cornwall all the way up through Somerset over to East Anglia. So it's a power spot, right? So 15 years ago, I was here on a personal pilgrimage at that time, and I was staying in the Chalice Well Gardens, which is an incredibly sacred space where they tend the waters. And, you know, if we think back through history, or what I should call her story, there have always been the Grail Maidens, the Chalice Maidens, the ones who were the priestesses of the waters, right? The priestesses who tended the waters to keep them sweet, and waters we understand to carry our prayers and our blessings, to amplify that onto the planet, but also where we come to receive healing, right? We think about the healing waters all over the world where people come for miracles. So that is what the Chalice Well Gardens are. Well, I had my own miracle happen at the Chalice Well Gardens. I was up one morning very, very early, around, I don't know, 5 a.m. It was just, the light was just coming up, and the birds were singing in this way that they do in the English countryside that's just sublime. And I was sitting right where the wellhead is, and it's got a beautiful sacred geometry of a Vesica Pisces on the well lid. And I was in meditation, and I had my eyes closed, and I was just in a deep reverie. And in the corner of my eye, I saw this image of a woman dressed in a red robe. And I intuitively knew, as soon as I saw her, that it was Mary Magdalene. Now, remember this, at this time, I didn't really have consciously a lot of reference point for this Mary Magdalene, because 15 years ago, she was just beginning to come into the cultural zeitgeist, into our collective consciousness, with the Da Vinci codes and with, you know, some of this other material, and with the church actually recognizing her as the apostle of the apostles. So before that, she had been really, really hidden, right? And so I didn't question it at all, because I knew better than to get into my mind. And what happened was I went into this visionary space where Mary Magdalene took me in first to the Chalice Well Gardens, which are beautiful gardens, and then it morphed and became the Gardens of Gethsemane, which I, at the time, could not remember what happened there, but it was a very significant place, as you probably all know. And in the Gardens of Gethsemane, I was led by her, and in front of us appeared Yeshua, and he was holding this beautiful golden chalice, and there was this light streaming from above, like the Sophia light shining into the chalice. And Magdalene in her red robes, he was in white and she was in red, just like the red and white spring, right? And she went and he held the chalice together in their hands. So they were holding one to each side. And this light was crystalline white light, was pulsing from them. And I was completely transfixed in the vision, barely able to breathe, because I was just like, what am I even seeing? And I heard the words, "Do you vow to walk as love, beloved?" And I heard these words and I didn't skip a beat. I said yes. And I had no idea what that meant. And when I said yes, she beckoned toward me to come to them, to place my hands on the chalice with them, to receive this extraordinary white light, crystalline energy that went all the way through my body. And then they transfigured into light, and the chalice was left hanging in that air. And I knew that the vision was complete. And I was sitting at the Chalice Well Gardens, as you now again, and I was weeping, Scott. It was like I was shaking, and all the Kundalini energy in my body was shaking, and I was weeping, and I knew that something had been enacted that I had no idea what it meant in the world of form. And a sister came around the corner, and she came and she sat with me in emptiness and just anointed me with the holy oil. And she happened to have the oil of rose on her. And so she anointed my heart and she anointed my third eye. And I sat there for a very long time without being able to speak a word. And what happened from that vision onward really has been the last 15 years, a deep and profound exploration of what it means to walk as love. And I can tell you that that has been one of the biggest initiations of my life, to say yes to walking as love, because what I didn't realize, and I have only found out through the practice of it, is that really when you vow to walk as love, you're vowing to come into a process of deep self contemplation and reflection as to what love actually is, and when you are coming from love and when you are not. And what I can tell you is, much to my complete horror, what I discovered in true contemplation was just how unloving I was.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, first of all, what a beautiful, beautiful story. And I'm so grateful to learn that about you. And let's just stay with that for a moment then. So you, of course, after making that beautiful vow
Yeah.
and then, we see how perfectly human we are, which includes the judgments. And I had a similar experience in my life where I kind of woke up to how judgmental I was, so I get that one. Um, Tell us more about what your path of walking in love, how does that apply? How do you do that in practical application?
Yeah. Well, after this encounter with Mary Magdalene, you can imagine, I started to go on a quest to really discover who she was and what she had been teaching and why was she coming to me. And, I went on this extraordinary pilgrimage, that took me back down through into France, that took me over to Egypt, that took me to Israel, that took me all over the place, really looking, and here in the UK too, really looking for where had she been walking and teaching, and what was the gospel, what was the true teachings of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. And I really believe that they were a mystery school, they were not a religion, that they were actually teaching us how to become what they call fully human, awakened humans. And they had a word for it in the Gnostic lexicon, which is to become fully anthropos. When you become anthropos, you really embody this awakened human who has remembered that they are human and divine, and that this marriage between divinity and humanity has taken place within you, so that you are no longer walking in the forgetting of who you are, but walking in the remembrance of who you are. They had another beautiful word that's Latin, that's called anamnesis. And anamnesis means to remember the truth of who we are as divine beings. Now, this is where we get into the story of what has happened, which is, I truly believe that the teachings of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, because they taught together, by the way, she was not his disciple. They were co-partners. They were a bonded pair. I believe they were married. I believe that they did have offspring. That's a whole nother conversation. But they were seeding this way of love 2,000 years ago. And at the heart of it is the remembrance that we are not born evil, that we are not born sinners, which is what the Christian church later made the creed of, right? That's their dogma, is that we have to redeem ourselves, and we can only go to heaven if we redeem ourselves through Jesus Christ, through a priest, and that's the only way we reach heaven. Well, I really believe that the way of love says, no, the Garden of Eden lives here.
Yes.
We are already divine. We've just forgotten it. And that is really the myth at the center of early Christianity, is the divine Sophia myth, right? That was the myth. The mystery schools of ancient Greece were into this myth of Sophia, the Pistis Sophia. And this was at the same time, this idea that we've been separated from our divine nature when we come into form, and that by dearth of that, we forget who we are, and that our lives is spent remembering. And the way that we remember is through our humanity. It's not through negating our humanity and trying to get to our divinity, which is what we're told by the church. We're meant to transcend our evil, ignorant humanness, right? And access the God, right? No, it's actually something profoundly more beautiful, which is the act of being human
Mm.
is profoundly vulnerable, profoundly flawed, profoundly imperfect. And every single day we have a choice about who we choose to be. And that choice is yours alone. There is no dogma that can, the 10 Commandments, who cares? No, it's about you knowing in your heart whether you are coming from love or not. And in order for us to do that, we have to first love ourselves, which means loving all the parts of ourselves that are judgmental and hateful, that project, that blame, that are envious, that are jealous, that are rageful, that are unkind, that are selfish, you name it, all those parts. Instead of being punished for being that, the way of love would say through Magdalene, my darling, your job is to love those parts of yourself.
Yes.
Because in loving those parts of ourselves, we actually bring that divine love into human form, because unconditional love is divine love. And its ability is to be able to love all of the light and all of the shadow. So instead of going, oh, I did that thing that was really unkind, and now I'm going to beat myself up about being really unkind, I'm going to hold myself and inquire, what motivated me to be so unkind to that person? What was it that pushed me into that unkindness? And can I have compassion for the part of me that was tired and irritable? And can I choose to hold myself to account, to make amends to whatever it is that I was out of line with? You know, the original meaning of the word sin was to miss the mark.
Right. It's an archery term.
It is. It's to miss the mark. And when we miss the mark, we're out of love. We wobble out of love. When we think about love, and this is the current teaching that I'm actually working in, and the body of work that I'm really inspired by, is that love is not actually a feeling, it's a frequency.
Yes.
And when we're in the frequency of love, we are literally vibrating at a different frequency than when we're not. And we know this through all the work that they've done at HeartMath, through all the work that they've done through studying how we can shift frequencies, right? Through sound healing, through all of the different vibrational healing techniques that we now know about, essential oils, sound healing, touch, all have the ability to raise our frequency. And this idea that love is not just a feeling, but actually a frequency that we can entrain ourselves to live in. In other words, we can start to recognize it in terms of how it feels, yes, in our body, not just as a feeling, but as sensation. You know, we often hear people talk about love being like, oh, I feel light, or I feel my warmth in my heart, or I feel so open, or I feel so free. I feel so like it's flowing. I feel the generosity of the world, right? That's the love frequency.
Yes.
And we've known about this. We know about this. It's not like it's something new. But what's really the great challenge is that everything that is that simple is actually profoundly difficult to master. And the truth is that the way of love means that we need to cultivate this frequency within our own bodies, and we need to know how to do that. We need to have practices to cultivate the frequency, and we need to recognize when we're no longer in it so that we can return to it. And when we're no longer in it, the biggest piece is to not go into a process of self-blame or self-negation, because that takes us further out of the frequency of love. And it's not that we don't hold ourselves to account, Scott, because we do. And being accountable is very, very important in this path, because I am accountable to my higher power. I'm accountable to the divine within me. I am not accountable to anything outside of me. It is me with me. And it's taken me a very long time to really soften myself, to recognize the places inside of myself that I have judged and hated and loathed and pushed away. And the journey is to bring all of that into consciousness, because To be an awakened human means to recognize that we're everything. Whatever I see in you, whatever it is that I'm irritated with in you, it has its origins in me. If I have eyes to see it in you, then it lives in me.
Yes, absolutely. There's only one of us here.
Right. Oh, and I'll tell you a little joke about that. My beloved, who is very, very funny, said to me when he first met me, and I would say, there's only one of us here. He turned to me and he said, well, if there's only one of us here, darling, it might as well be me.
That's good.
So you can use that one. Feel free
I will
to.
use that one. That's
Quite a
good.
funny one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so much of what you're saying, I really love it. It's always wonderful hearing teachings from a different point of view that's all the same in a sense of what we're learning about that love is a frequency and learning to love all the different children that live inside of us. And we love all of our children, even though, we recognize that each child has certain behaviors that, have hurtful consequences, but we still love the child. My motto is how perfectly human, because we all are perfectly human. And that's my motto. Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things that I've really come to is this path is really seeded in me. And I believe this is what truly I believe in every part of my being, that this is what they were seeding 2000 years ago, that we're finally now ready to receive. And people say to me, well, Kalila, how is that so? Because the world appears to be like rocking on its axis in terms of the demise and the final death throes of the patriarchy and the final death throes of these corrupted, awful, horrifying players that we've got going on right now in our world. And I'm not going to name names, but we know what
we know who we know
who I'm talking about, who seem to be anti-life and anti-love and anti-anything that any of us would want to be associated with. And what I would say on this feast day of Mary Magdalene, on this potent day of her, of recognition of her, what we're really being called to recognize is, yes, we're going through a dark night of the soul. This is true. There is no doubt in my heart that that's what we're going through as a collective. However, what's also real is that in the darkest night, in the darkest hour, that is when the light appears. If we think about how revelation happens through the epiphany or the moment of awakening, it's always in the darkest moments. And it's always when we've almost given up hope. Yeah. For any one of you who's been through a dark night, and I believe we all have, right? And they're all different, but you'll know it. And individually, you know that when we go through that, there are moments where you feel so bereft and so lost and so hopeless that you can't believe that it could ever change. And you can't imagine how you're ever going to find your way back to a place of the light, right? Well, that's where we are as a collective, which is why I believe the Magdalene is here so strongly now, holding the lamp. The name Magdalene is a title. We all know that. And as is Mary, in fact, Mary meaning priestess or sea priestess or ocean priestess, right? Of the ocean, the oceanic priestess, the mother, Mary, and Magdalene meaning the great tower of strength or the lighthouse. She who carried the light, she who tended the flock, she who led the light through the darkest of nights is here now. Why? Because we need her light. We need her fierceness. And my experience of Mary Magdalene is she is not the penitent whore that we've been fed.
Of course not. Of course not.
That's what they did to her. That's the number that they did to her in order
classic patriarchy. Classic toxic patriarchy.
Totally. Who she is a powerful, extraordinarily fiery, compassionate, tender, wild energy, in my experience, is of her being kind of bossy and intense. Like she's not somebody, an energy that we don't recognize when she's coming through us. And what I really believe is happening is we've had Mary Magdalene, the woman, we have her story. She was a real woman and she really left a legacy for us. But she wasn't just the woman, because Magdalene isn't one woman, just as Christ wasn't one man. To be Christed means to be the anointed one, right? As the Messiah also means the same thing. So there have been many Christed beings. In fact, We are all walking as Christed beings, awakening the Christ light within us. This is the whole thing that we have not been able to access because the church made it heresy, and they murdered millions of us women in the Dark Ages, in the witch hunts, for carrying this knowledge. They murdered all the Cathars who were carrying that holy bloodline of Mary Magdalene's teachings and Yeshua's teachings, right? So everything had to go underground because it wasn't safe for us to be here. But guess what? This is rising within us now. Magdalene is rising within us now because we are ready. Consciousness is shifting very, very fast now. We are ready to awaken these ancient codes that tell us how to give birth to heaven on earth, how to give birth to a new earth. And we're all in this together. We don't give birth to a new earth by pretending the old one doesn't exist. That is the gift that Mary Magdalene gives us. She was a miraphor, and a miraphor is known as one who tends through anointing and helping those who are passing over, pass over. You know, the one story that's present in all the canonical gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? There's many more gospels out there, my darlings, that are the apocryphal ones.
The Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel
of Philip, the Gospel of Mary, all of the rest of it. But the four that we know of, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right, that were the canonical agreed upon gospels, there is one story and only one story that appears in all four. And that is the anointing of Yeshua by Magdalene. Not even the nativity is in all four, right? So we have to ask, why would they have kept that story in if it wasn't one of the most important acts and rites of their mystery school? The act of anointment is the act of conferring spirit into the body. It is the kiss of spirit in the body. It is the awakening of the divine self. When Magdalene anointed Jesus of Nazareth, he became Jesus Christ. That is a very, very powerful story. And the reason I'm telling you this is because not only was he not the only Christed one, she was not the only Magdalene. She's the one we know about. But there have been many others who have carried that light, the divine light in the dark. And so we have to ask, what is the Magdalene as a collective? Well, the Magdalene as a collective is a frequency through which we choose to live as love. That is our doctrine. And I say doctrine, not dogma. The doctrine of love is that it lives within inside of you, and the journey to understanding what love is our human life. It's every choice point that we have. In every single moment, we can choose love or not. And that is divinely human. There's no other creature on this planet that has that conscious choice. And it is our conscious choice that is our sovereignty, because nobody controls my choices. You can't make me be something that I'm not. That comes from me. And when I am awake and practicing, then I am able to make that choice. And not only am I able to make that choice, I'm able to see when I didn't make that choice. And I'm able to rectify, to recohere myself to love. And that's so humbling. And that's the piece that makes us divine humans, is the humility to say, oh, I messed it up again. I'm so sorry I did that. I'm so sorry I spoke that words to you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. It's the humility to be imperfect.
I honor how the Magdalene lives inside of you and how you're coming through and teaching in such a beautiful way. I'm so, thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful transmission. And, you know, always I like to say that what you're providing is a little homeopathic dose of your medicine. And I want to let our audience know how they can get more of you. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things. This is her primary website. And boy, well, I want to hear about this. So
So excited. Well,
Tell
this
us
is
about
something.
this.
Well, this has already happened. This is the
Oh,
hidden
okay.
initiation of midlife. So we'll let that go. That's
Okay.
that pop-up's already happened. But what's there on that website that you were just at, Scott, is if you pull it back up again, is
Sure.
the two mystery schools that there we go, that I am the dean of, the Priestess Presence, School of the Sacred Arts, and Temple.
Okay.
And there's two mystery schools within this. One is the study of the 13 faces of the divine feminine, and that's our Quintessia Mystery School. And the other one is our Rosa Mystica Mystery School, which is the study of the divine sent priestess, the path of the Magdalene, the path of the holy anointers. And we had them, and here you are, you've just landed on it. And we have a whole mystery school that's dedicated to the teachings of the Magdalene and the history or her story of the sacred art of anointing. And we go through 13 different temple lineages within that explore in depth this ancient lineage that goes back over 7,000 years. So that's there, as is the Quintessia Mystery School, which is the 13 faces of the divine feminine. And so we are about to be opening up enrollment again in the fall for next year. We open enrollment every year in the month of October for women that want to step in alongside of it. And this is the Quintessia Mystery School that we're just looking at. Not afraid of the deep, it says. This is a deep dive into shadow work, into alchemy, into understanding what it is to walk as one who has done the work of remembering our wholeness. And so plunge in if you dare into the depths, it says. So that's what I've been curating for the last 12 years, those two mystery schools, and I've been the dean of that school, and many thousands of women have come through and gotten not just studied with us, but ordained through our programs, and who are now ministers in the world. So that's
and our
beautiful.
beloved mutual friend Eden is co-hosting, so I'm sure she's going to have a lot to share
So Eden
after I
is
play
also
this.
an ordained priestess of the same lineage as I am through the 13 Moon Mystery School. Yeah.
There's one other thing I really want to make sure people know about, because it's something that I think many of our audience members are going to want to participate in. You're doing a wonderful program with our good friend Stephen Dinan and the Shift Network. So tell us about this, and it starts soon.
This starts absolutely August 18th. Registration is still open by now, and actually the early bird is still in place, so you can go ahead and get that. It's called the Magdalene Frequency, and it's becoming a modern day holy woman. And it's actually everything to do with what I was talking about, Scott, around being in the Magdalene Frequency. Like, how do we actually do this? How do we work with our own nervous system, with our own capacity to expand the field of love that we're living in, not just as a one-time thing, but as a choice of how and who we want to be living as in the world. And so it's an in-depth certification training, actually, to be able to not just anchor the frequency, but then to bring the frequency into our work, our relationships, wherever we are in the world. And I'm also going to be training you along the way with the art of being a mirror for and sitting with death and dying. So it's a whole energy that we're going to be working in, and it's an 18-week program. It's the longest program I've ever done with the Shift. And I'm super excited, because it's the culmination of many streams and bodies of work coming together that I am now ready to put into the world. So yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Okay, so I'll put this into the chat box, everybody, but it's Tuesdays at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern, starting on August 18th. But definitely register now so that you get the early bird price. And it looks like there's a bonus that's going to come your way.
There is.
And you can go there and play the video from her. It is always such a pleasure to be with you, to have you on the show. And today I got you on a much deeper level today. So it's like, oh my God, this woman's amazing. So thank
Bless you,
you.
darling.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. And I just want to take a moment as we close just to offer a blessing and a prayer, because I've been in such a deep pilgrimage space for the last week. I've had 35 women here with me for the week we just completed. And this is my prayer. I on this Magdalene feast day, ask us to sit inside the prayer that says we live in a field of miracles, that miracles are possible in every moment, and that you are a living miracle. And that whatever it is that your tender heart is calling forward as a healing for yourself, for those you love, for the world, today is a day to bless that prayer and to see the miracle is happening already, to call it forward, to understand that miracles are simply our willingness to step out of the mind's sense of the impossible, to open to the miraculous that is all around us in every moment. In every moment, it is possible for something to happen that previously you thought was impossible. And I really want to hold that with you all, because we are living in impossible times. We are. I know we seem to be faced with such improbable impossibilities. And I believe that we have to cultivate within ourselves the openness for the miracle to happen. So that's my prayer from the Magdalene today. Magdalene is also known as the great cosmic doorway. Her name also comes from the Persian word magush, which means magician. Mag, magician, right? Miracles and magic are afoot. And what were Yeshua and Magdalene known for? Miracles.
Yeah.
In all of the Gospels, there are the miracles of the fish and the loaves, the miracles of people being healed spontaneously, right? Love seeds a field of miracles. So the Magdalene frequency is about that, becoming the field of love that seeds the miraculous. Blessed be, my love.
Blessed be. Aho, Ashe, Amen. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Wow. That was pretty dynamic. You can tell she was high as a kite.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, she's talking about the love illusion, that there is now. I mean, I saw it today with starting at 7 a.m. with the Magdalene Feast Day programs, and then I attended several, and it was just like explosion of women finally waking up and getting it, and being really present for this love that she's talking about, which is that we have to go within. We have to connect with that love. We have to clear our shadows, forgive ourselves. And you've always been a big promoter of that whole notion of the humanness and being compassionate with the human side, because we're all crazy.
we all have our own unique thing. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's also about all of us finding the feminine, balancing it within ourselves. And I just want to acknowledge beloved Omashar, because he does balance the divine masculine, the divine feminine in a beautiful and powerful way. And not just through his music, not just through his lyrics, but through his embodiment of who he is as a being. So,
and I want to just say one thing, because men are so worried about the power that if women become all powerful or whatnot, we're collaborators. We want to balance. So I never do anything in programs I develop where we don't bring in the balance of the masculine, the sacred masculine. It's like, we're with you guys. We're here. We're so grateful. I'm so grateful to you, Omashar, for your vulnerability, your authenticity, your quality of sharing, and everything that you contribute in such service and magnitude. It's just touched my heart a million times over. So I wanted to give you a place for you to speak what it's like to be this sacred masculine trying to bud and bring yourself. And Scott, you can chime in too with interviewing your friend.
I thank you for that, Christy. And it's been a long journey. Many, many, many lifetimes, I am sure. And I'm really grateful that Elaine was just sharing with us before, because she's in one of my most favorite places on the planet, and that is Glastonbury. And I've been going there pretty much every year for the last 20, 30 years, just to touch in. I used to want to go and live there, and I realized I just needed to touch into one of these sacred sites. and you asked me to just share how it is for me, and the rise of the divine, my perspective on the rise of the divine sacred masculine, and there's so many perspectives. I'm just going to share something that I put together, so I'm not really sure how to share my perspective on the rise of the divine sacred masculine within both myself and upon the world stage. It seems to change moment to moment, and in this forum, I can speak pretty openly, but to some people, they're still in that dualistic place where the masculine, what if the feminine comes over and takes us? You don't realize it's both of these things within ourselves. And for me, the only real place that I could truly share about what is happening is in deep silence. There's no words for what is happening. There are so many viewpoints and stories on what has happened over the eons with both patriarchal and matriarchal societies, and what is happening right now with this necessary rebalancing within our self. I've become aware through my studies and through Scott's show, actually, that we are electromagnetic beings of sacred fire. Father being the electro creation vision, and magnetic being the feminine fulfillment and the love that holds it and us all together. And that being said, I often feel the presence of Mary Magdalene helping me understand this change occurring within our consciousness, within my consciousness, and at a cellular level. I mean, holy smoke, every day this is happening within me. I've about 4 years ago, I made the decision to go for it, right? Literally go for it. And Anna Suyu has just come into the room, Scott. And so daily I call to the mother of all creation to reacquaint myself with the feeling of true divine mother's love, because I realize that the love that I have felt and expressed through my life really it pales in comparison. So, divine mother's love, her will and her justice. And as I feel that trickling back into my feeling body and consciousness, I sense a feeling of natural rebalancing. And I realized that if the divine mother's love came fully back into our systems now, we would all just disintegrate. We've got so far off the track, but I don't think that we got off the track off purpose, because now that we got off the track, we can come together again and bring all of that which we have amassed within our group consciousness and work out the way forward. And so within myself, I struggle less and less as I trust and allow this process within myself. And what is also happening that I think that was just mentioned in our beautiful goddess from Glastonbury is everything unlike Divine Mother's love is coming up within me to be cleansed and cleared. And initially it freaked me out because I thought, what, I have to relive this again? And it's not. It's really kind of just looking at it, allowing it through, blessing it, and realizing it's not me, and that which I truly am is already there. I'm just remembering. And so to the best of my ability, I take my hands off the steering wheel, and I trust that all will rebalance naturally within myself and all of us. And that is pretty much all I have to say in this moment. We could go on forever, but I think all of the homeopathic doses that are being shared tonight, the whole picture is really, really beautiful. And what I also, even though I said I'm not going to say anymore, can you come back on screen, Scott and Christy?
Yes.
Is that as people like Nassim Haramein, and they're coming from another perspective on all roads lead to Rome, all of them, and so from his perspective, a scientific perspective, that we are electromagnetic beings, the electro father, the magnetic mother. It seems very dry, but what it does is engage people who could not watch a program like we're putting on tonight. They couldn't watch it because it's too outside of their world box. But people like Nassim, he's reeling them in from, wow, if this is scientifically like that, then maybe it is true that the Magdalene force is a force, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Omashar, what you're saying. Scott, if you could bring up Dan and Diana as well with us on the screen, because I just want to send you some love, Omashar. And Scott, you can stay on too, because I need your presence with this as well. fact, you might want to just go to gallery view. I don't know. Because the thing is, you have a daughter, and I want you to know you're not alone in your struggles with your daughter. How many have struggles with their daughter? So, you know, this is what I want you to know, is that we're here for you. And we're sending you so much love for the healing that needs to happen, and trusting that it has already happened.
Yes, thank you. And I do receive it. And I've also come to the place on myself that every reflection out there in the world, I mean, all of us are reflections. There's one of us speaking through the five of us on the screen right now. There's only one of us, but all our different perspectives. And everything that happens to us, from my perspective in my life, is only one purpose, and that's to drive me home, and to accept and love and bless everything that's happened. And so I bless my daughter, I bless her mother, I bless every act of ickiness that's happened to my life, because it's led me to a place where I know that the only place to go is home. And from that perspective, I can see the truth of what has happened, and be grateful for the players in this play as we come back into holy balance. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
I don't
you.
know, Dan and Diane, you might want to share a little on the healing of this daughter phenomena. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
It's okay.
That's wonderful to hear you, Amashar, to speak with I don't know, gentle, strong humility in the face of all of the challenges, particularly as we men face in these times of the the confusion of the old patriarchy as it begins to as it continues to fully collapse. Yeah, I didn't know you had a daughter, Amashar, and I have two, and I have to say that it's been perhaps a good 10 years of work to heal my relationship, especially with my younger daughter. That has been, profoundly moving to me. It's been, work of the heart, and I just constantly am just saying, I love you, and I'm sorry, and I believe in you, I champion you, and it's very interesting as I work with men in my counseling practice. I'm really aware of the challenge that men have in getting these lessons, and I think that one of the lessons is in a sense it's feeling shame, and it's being aware of perhaps an unconscious at times, but injury we impose sometimes on others. And I see it so much that when women recognize a man's ability to feel shame, the woman softens. And from that place, a man can show up with more vulnerability, more authenticity, without trying to be the hero, without trying to be the guy who has got it together and has all the answers. There's something beautiful. And Scott and Amashar, you both are very great models of humility and just such genuine giving and witnessing of the feminine as it's appearing more and more in the world.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add something about the mother-daughter. And I think, there's always the personal, right? But I think it's also a big collective wound, because most of us that are, on this show that are mothers, we were raised in more of a patriarchal time. And then we have daughters that are a lot less so. And there, some of the struggle, I think, is looking at the mothers like, how come you kind of abandoned me? How come you played into the patriarchy to the degree that you did? And I think that that's so I believe that it is personal, but it's also collective. We're healing a collective wound, and we're learning, us older women are learning from the younger women, and they're learning from us. And also, I think it involves compassion on both sides. They have to remember that, in 1975, for example, women couldn't even have a credit card in their name. And, like they have no understanding of that. And so I think this is all a collective healing. And this is just the piece between mothers and daughters and how the patriarchy has played into that. And then relationships, just the balance of the masculine and feminine. Of course, it has to be within us, but then, there's work here, and there's a lot. Like when we set our date to get married, the date worked us. It really did. I mean, we went through initiations and to prepare to be able to do that with authenticity and integrity.
And Sophia was there.
Yes.
Particularly through Diana, helping to nudge us in certain directions and giving us little clues, and not telling us what to do, but being a tremendous support. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be, I don't know, agents of this path here on the planet right now. And here we are. What a beautiful community that's here.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you just shared. I'm going to turn it back over to Christy because she's got a beautiful presentation to make. And I want to just briefly tell people a little bit about Christy. Of course, many of you know her, but for those of you who are new, and again, a big hello to all of those watching on Facebook and YouTube, Christy is a priestess of Mary Magdalene, a mystic who's been on the path of revealing the suppression of the divine feminine. Christy's passion has led to pilgrimage sites devoted to goddesses, Magdalene, and also Mother Mary. She has studied with top female scholars like Elizabeth Kelly, who we acknowledged earlier tonight. It was Christy's mystical experiences, though, that guided her where to look and how to discover for herself all that has been suppressed by the patriarchy. And she later published this by Flower of Life Press. And you can learn all about her by going to gospelofmarymagdalene.info. And that's her primary website. And there's always a lot of wonderful things happening there. And she puts on usually at least 2 events every year, this one and also the Easter sunrise or Easter service. So again, it's Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And she also has a wonderful book, which we'll talk about after her presentation. So take it away, Christy.
Thank you so much, Scott. And thank you for everyone who's come and joined us. I feel your hearts, and I so appreciate the field of love that you're creating. I just find all of these ideas that have been percolating and sharing have been just so powerful and so healing. And this has been an absolutely glorious day for me. And as Scott would always say, I can only give you a homeopathic dose of what Sophia has meant to me. I have gone to every one of Dan's lectures from over 10 years ago when he started giving lectures. And the Pistis Sophia book is so thick. And, he's dissected it and gone through it. And it's like, it's been a process for all of us to try to distill down the core essence of what it is. So this will be a very brief highlighting of who she is and why she is so powerful and why she's needed and how she's touched my life. And And then you're going to have to go take his class to get the rest. So, and I hope I've got the understanding correct, but I was ordained on 10/10/10, an auspicious day by Elizabeth Kelly, into the Lyceum of the Holy Sophia. And when I was ordained, I hadn't a clue about what her story was. I just trusted that I was going to be in the right place. So I'm going to share with you this story of the embodiment of the Holy Sophia in Mary Magdalene. And I want to say it started at the Sunrise Center, Scott. And it started when I received a kiss from a queen bee. I was getting ready to go to the Sunrise Center to hear a lecture that was going to be given by Dr. Marguerite Riglioso. And a queen bee flew into my window and landed on my index finger and kissed it and then flew away. It was like, I was like, wow. And of course, what she was talking about was having to do with the priestesses of Delphi. These were the sacred holy women that practiced ancient rites. And she was just completed her dissertation. So these two books are very daunting to read because they're all in dissertation language, very complex kind of language. But it was my first introduction to all of this. And she had mentioned that the bees of Delphi were so important. And so this was like extraordinary that a queen bee flew into my window and kissed my finger right before I left to go hear her talk. So all of that was revealed. And this is the way my life has been. It's like I just get these incredible downloads. And so I loved hearing these stories about the sacred holy women and what their work was that they did with their anointings and what an alchemical genius Mary Magdalene was. And like one of my favorite stories that she told was the presentation of Mary at the temple and how Mary would climb up the stairs. And she was held back by her mother for a year, and now she's 3 years old, and everybody was waiting to see, is she going to go for her destiny and enter the temple for her priestess training? Or will she turn back and go, Mom, where are you going? Why are you leaving me here? And when she got to the top of the steps, she danced. What an incredible, delightful story that was. And so, on my bucket list has been to go to see the Holy Sophia in the temple that exists in Turkey. But unfortunately, it's all covered up now because it has been turned over to become a mosque. So the suppression is still alive and well and not available for us to look. And for me, I've discovered there's two primary reasons to know what has been suppressed. Because some women will say, well, I don't need to know about, I'm conscious and everything. Suppression is designed to disempower us. And Sophia's purpose is to awaken us. And there was a very interesting research that was done by Harvard University that I discovered, which helps explain why a woman, when she's declaring, they took women who were saying, I'm conscious, I totally believe in my equality, and they had them, and then they put her in situations where she had to claim her authority. And how did she feel? And she had to set a boundary. How did she feel? What discomfort was she going through? And they found these very conscious, very clear women that were saying, I am awake and I support myself as an equal partner. Were not so equal. They kind of were bending the knee. And that when she earned more or led more than her male partner, how discomfort that brought up for her and discomforting it was, and that if she was to challenge a religious leader, or if she dared prioritize her own creative talent and calling, as that's what I need to put my energy in, is my creative calling. This was something that would bring up a lot of angst inside of women, even when they were like totally conscious. So my passion became about revealing what has been suppressed so that we can choose once again. And so you have the famous Sistine Chapel, the painting with Michelangelo painted with the God, the Father, white bearded guy, and at least they got one part right in that he's in the divine mind, because the all is in the divine mind, the mind of God. And of course, he's supposedly putting the spark of life into Adam, right? But we have to look again, and we see that he's hanging on for dear life to a woman. And the reason when I found out about this is like, oh, she is Sophia. So we have this origin story of this God that's one transcendent God and creates the heaven and earth by his word, right? And of course, the famous part of the story is the fall, right? That Adam and Eve disobeyed God and they fell into sin and separation. And of course, the sin and separation is Eve's fault, right? So it's women who got the bad rap. And then, of course, the goal is to restore your obedience through your faith and your relationship with God. So you must obey God's rules, or else it's all fear-based. But wait a minute, hold on here a second. There is another origin story. So let's take a deep breath in for a second, at least I need to. We have the story of the Sophia creation in the Gnostic tradition. And when we go through this story, what we see is that from the divine infinite, the pleroma, the beauty of the all that is, the love, the light, she arises, this wisdom arises, the eternal source of light. It's an emanation of light. The feminine is the emanation of the light. And Sophia is considered the mother of creation, but we lost the story of the mother. And this beautiful being who is supposed to emanate from the pleroma, the Sophia brings forth the cosmos through her thoughts and her divination. However, it is Sophia that forms Adam in this story and reflects that divine light. She places the spark of light in matter inside Adam. And so she's the one that helps spark that life. And the Gospel of John, Jesus of John, is where it's found, but that's not in the Bible, right? So Sophia created, though, a problem because there was a miscreation, and you'll have to go to Dan's class to find out about that. But in her fall into matter, we forgot who we are. So her goal is to gather her sparks. That's the awakening world. That's all of you. You're all the sparks. And our job is to awaken and remember that you are divine. That's what she's trying to help us with. That's what she's here for. And so when you look at it, he came for her. There's Elizabeth does a Gnostic Eucharist, excuse me. And in it, she says he came for her. He did not come to save you because you are not a sinner. So in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, Jesus said to the disciples, there is no sin. It is you who make sin exist when you act according to the habits of your corrupted nature. So if you have a stinking thinking thought, it's your thought. You're creating that thought. So, you don't have to think that way. And so this is what the Sophia origin story says, that he came to help her. She was rendered blind. Her crown was knocked off in her fall into matter. And he came to help her. It was not about saving you, because you're not a sinner. It's because he came for her. And she is here to help you now. Remember, that spark of the divine light is in you. It's about remembering who you are. And so in this Gnostic text, we learn that Sophia's luminous power becomes hidden within Adam to awaken him and the humanity within that divine light. She's trying to help preserve this divine spark in our fallen state of being in 3D matter. And so he came to restore her crown. He came for her because we are love. We are not sinner, and there is no sin. And do you understand why they do not want you to know her story? One can control someone when you have sin and fear. And if there's no sin and fear, and you are love, and you're sourcing it all yourself. So this is my church that I grew up in as a kid, and is completely devoid of the divine feminine. And I was starving. And of course, we had Magdalene, who was cast out of the church. So I became a seeker. I became so hungry for this divine feminine. And do you know the Holy Sophia story? She was actually hidden in plain sight. She's on the front of major cathedrals. But do you know her origin story? Have we ever learned it? I never. It took me years and going to lots of dance classes and continuing to search to even begin to. But you see that rose window that the cathedral has in it? That's the pleroma. That's that source of light which she holds. And so we got the penitent Magdalene versus the apostle to the apostle. And what also has been hidden is that she is the embodiment of the Holy Sophia, the Magdalene. She is called the woman who knew the all. In other words, because she did the work and listened to Jesus and took the journey, her soul's journey, she was able to understand that she was one with God. That's what he was asking us to do. Understand you are one with God. And so she became the woman who knew the all. And so, of course, she's the one who can anoint him and help him. So Sophia's purpose has been to activate that divine spark in you. And if you let your spark shine, then guess what happens? There's a transmission that happens. Like when I'm in the presence of Dan and Diana and other people like Melissa, Sophia Joy, and various other awakened women, it opens my spark. It increases the amount of spark that I have, so that we can bring the balance back of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and therefore return to the fullness, the wholeness that we are love. So we have traditionally Easter Sunday morning, right? That's the celebration of the risen Christ. But in the spirit of the harmony and balance, we needed to have the Magdalene Moonrise service. So that's why I got a vision that I was supposed to create the Magdalene Moonrise service to bring that balance. And the next one is Sunday, March 28th, 2027. So I hope all of you can come, because it's the purpose of it is to fulfill my prophecy, as Jesus says in the Bible. He says it in a number of different places. He says, wherever I tell you the truth, that wherever the good news is preached throughout this world, this woman's deeds will be remembered and discussed. Well, wherever the good news, the gospel, the word gospel means good news, right? So the gospel is being preached all over, right? But are they discussing and remembering with you her? No, I don't think so. So we have to fulfill the prophecy. We have to bring the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine together. That is our work that we're doing. And thank you for supporting that work. So wherever the gospel is preached, what she has done will be told in memory of her. This is where it is in Mark 14, verse 9. So I created the Magdalene Moonrise Easter celebration so that we could remember what she has done. And the word Messiah, as you heard Elaine talk about, means anointed one. It's the man becomes the Christed one. But we're all the Christed ones. We're all the ones that need to be anointed. And we need to be anointing each other. So Margaret Starberg used to talk about the heretic painters that were commissioned by the church. The church didn't know they were heretics, but they would put clues in there that they were a heretic painter. And one of the clues was you'd find an X. So do you see the X in this painting? X marks the spot, and the spot is on her. So it's really what we need to do is to focus on her. You see how little Jesus is in comparison? She's huge, because it's the divine feminine that awakens us. That's why there's all this rise of the divine feminine, because it's the divine feminine that's going to awaken us. And do you notice the children in the painting are leading the way, because we are innocent. We're not sinners. We weren't born in sin and have original sin. We're all innocent. So we just, like we said earlier, missed the mark, right? So why does anointing matter? Because at the Magdalene Easter service, you come, the very first station that you come to is the anointing station. It's for the sacred healing that happens through anointing. Anointing is sacred touch. I see who you are. The priestess who anoints you is holding presence to the energetic love. And she's not doing it as I'm superior to you because I know and you don't know. It's doing that I need to share this with you. It's in the sharing that the sacredness gains in strength. We don't become stronger unless we share. That's so critical important. So the anointing matters because the activation is with the intention to touch the divine in you. And when I do that, it awakens the divine in me. It strengthens the divine in me, which then strengthens the divine in you. And it's this sharing that causes us to all get stronger in this love. So you have these two origin stories, right? You have the Genesis version versus the Gnostic Sophia version. One says you're a sinner, and one says there's no sin. One says that Jesus is supposed to save you, you sinner. And the other one says, no, Jesus came to save her. He came to help her. And one makes you obey rules, and the other one says, make no rules or you'll be bound by them. And her purpose, Sophia's purpose, is to help you awaken and remember. So one is the looking outside yourself for some Godhead or some dogma or some way of being. And the other one is to go within. We drop into that which is life itself, that life which exists in us as the fragment of the pleroma. We are from original source. We have just forgotten about it. So we go within. And we make that, instead what we have happening is the Magdalene's getting cast out of the church and she's being stripped of her things. So we have to teach the children now because we have such a fierce conditioning that even a woman fully conscious, according to this Harvard Research, still has a hard time when she has to set boundaries. It should be easy. Like men don't have trouble doing some of these things. They just do it because they have been told they can do it. So you have to teach the children. So this is my granddaughter at 5 years of age. And I brought over the Empowered Magdalene painting. And I showed it to her and asked her to carry it in and place it on the altar. And she looked at the painting and she goes, oh, Grandma, she's so beautiful. And she just took it in. And she was so proud. She told her brother, I get to carry the Magdalene in while everybody's witnessing. She was so happy to have this sense of responsibility. And she is just gazing and focusing. And you can see this little 5-year-old is just, she gets it. She's totally taking in that love. And then, so now I'm trying to create the coloring book, which is the myth-busting deconstruction of the fairy tale where the princess meets the priestess and the priestess teaches her all of this. But when I put it out there to people that reviewed it for me, the feedback I got it was, I don't even know these stories. So you got to write one for me. So that's what the one on the left is about. It's the storybook of awakening from a fairy tale to Sophianic wisdom. And it helps the mother, the grandmother, the caretaker remember what she was never taught, that she lost. And you see the red thread connecting her with the priestess and the symbol of the hawk, which guides us. So she learns all about that because it's earth-based in nature. And and the animals are incredibly a part of it. So I need help to put these books out into the world. And so I have a GoFundMe because I'm retired on Social Security to be able to buy you the ISBN numbers and get all the support and help. So we tried to launch it the last time, but some reason it didn't work. So I think I figured out why it didn't work. So Scott will bring it up. But where is the wise woman helping the young child? This is the young Sophia, the princess. She's going to be a princess, but look, she's got a wise queen grandmother who's teaching her the way of love, which is what Kathleen's book about the Boleyn heresy is about, is how Anna Boleyn was being put into a mystery school and she was taught about the ways of love. Instead, what we have is young children are conditioned not to trust older women. All the older women look like hags and they look mean and they want to kill your prince. Or if they are beautiful, like the Sleeping Beauty one, they're going to turn into a dragon and slay your prince. So you don't want to have anything to do with older women. And so there's this repulsion that children are conditioned with to not connect with their things. So in the coloring book, and it's also that we need that multicultural integration. We have the contrast between the castle, which is walls and built up, versus the temple, which is open. And Sophia's like, how do you stay safe with open temples? Well, you say, she learns later, it's that love creates safety. The more love we have, the safer we are. And so you learn the difference between walling ourselves off versus opening our minds and opening our hearts and honor, which means we have to honor the divine feminine because she's a part of every culture, every life. We have to bring in the arts. And we learn that instead of looking to a man that's where true love is, you got to find your prince. You got to love is outside yourself. You learn that no, true love is within you, as you. And so when I read the story to my grandchildren, I asked them which page they wanted to color first. And my little 3-year-old on the right, she said, true love page, Grandma. And you see the little pink heart on that page? She tried so hard to make sure that she did not go outside the lines. And little 3-year-olds, they just scribble, right? They have a very hard time. And she just tried so hard to stay in the line so that she could get that heart right. And there is her grandmother's behind her and has her back. And we're talking about where true love is in her. And she's drawing true love in the heart, right where it's located. In fact, if you put your hand on your heart and you just stop and meditate for a moment to see if you can connect to your heart, that's how we learn to connect with that spark within. So you understand now why we need to do this. And anyway, thank you so much. But Scott, I just want to say this about the Global Peace Tribe people, because I really want to acknowledge all of you at the Global Peace Tribe who keep coming back. And you guys are the most important, because what you're doing by showing up again and again and again is you're creating that field of love. You see, it's not about, do I have a romantic love or not? It's about building, gathering, and in the gathering, we create the field. And if we create the field, we raise the frequency. And if we raise the frequency, it impacts us all because it strengthens that field of love. And anyone who comes in contact with that field of love, it awakens something in them because they can't help not feel it because it is in them as them. So the Global Peace Tribe, every single one of the people that keep coming back over and over, and you see me coming back all the time. In fact, Scott, I want to recommend at some point that you have a show where all the presenters come back, and they come back to create the field. And the show is nothing about who's presenting or how great the presenters are. The show is about creating the field. And so we all show up for each other, and we all make a massive effort. We have so many people that have valuable information about how to create the field. So you prime the pump a little bit to get people to understand, having a few select people share that wisdom, but people intuitively know how to do that. And when you ask them to create the field of love, suddenly there's an explosion, just like I saw today. There's like Magdalene feast days happening everywhere, and they're packed and they're full, and more and more people are awakening to it. So we're on the right track. We just have to continue to understand that it's the gathering. And you might want to put everybody on gallery view, Scott, so that, because we really need to honor your global peace tribers. Everybody got your camera off. If you can turn your cameras on, that would be awesome. Yay. I just want to say how much I appreciate all of you so much. And I love you all so much for all the work that you've done to come and bless and pray and be with us and give love to these ideas and do what you can to spread the word and bring in more people and bring in more powerful ideas. So, and Scott, you've been such a great steward of this in Omashar. We acknowledge you for all the labor and it's labor intensive to do all this work. I do one show and I'm like, wow, this is so much. But he does show after show after show after show. So, my hat's off to you, my dear. And so thank you so much. I will stop now.
I do want to put our attention on her GoFundMe. And I'd really like to encourage everybody to please donate. Whoops. Let's make it big again. There we go. Let's all donate. I'm going to do that right now. And I see that she just started this. So I'm going to get us off to, I'm going to donate $88.
Wow.
8 is the sign of abundance.
Yes.
And I remind everybody that when you donate, GoFundMe kind of like automatically puts this 17.5% tip in there, but you don't need to pay that. When you fill this out, just go down to this little bar and you can take it all the way down to wherever you want. I'll leave it at like 1.5%. So you can choose how much of a tip you want to give to GoFundMe. And we appreciate GoFundMe, but we don't need to give them 17.5%.
Right.
We want more money for our beloved Christy. Now, for
Thank
those of
you.
you watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you just go to GoFundMe and in the search bar, probably start Support a Grandmother's Inspiring Coloring Book. You probably don't have to write all that. If you write like half of it, it'll probably show right up because
Yeah,
it's a
probably
pretty,
my name will bring it up too.
or put it Christy Michaels and you'll get it. So I will complete the my donation in a
Thank you,
few
dear.
moments. Absolutely. And thank you, Christy. Thank you for your devotion of bringing together this incredible show. I'm going to bring up our presenters one more time, so we can all appreciate them. And thank you. Big, big hug. And of course, remembering Elaine Kalila in Glastonbury, Eden down in Los Angeles.
Bring up
And
Anasuya too, because she's been a team player with me, supporting me for all her.
let me find Anasuya. Oh, there
She's-
she is. Hallelujah, Anasuya. We love you so much. And Anasuya, we periodically give her, lots of time on a show because she's got so much to share. We adore Anasuya. She's one of our favorite people. So a big thanks to all of you. And please, everybody, don't go away because we still have quite a bit of show left. We are going to have some important Global Peace Tribe announcements. Then we're going to have our prayer time with Tiara and all of you. And then we're going to close out with an Omashar song. But there's a lot of pretty important Global Peace Tribe announcements that I want to make. Tomorrow night is when we're going to have this special event at the Sunrise Center. And Christy and I both used to work at the Sunrise Center. We have a long history with Lori Grace in the Sunrise Center. When I first started teaching compassionate communication, it was at the Sunrise Center. And so a lot of wonderful things happen there. So for any of you that happen to be in or close to the San Francisco Bay Area, the Sunrise Center is in Corte Madera, which is in Marin County. And so you are absolutely welcome and invited. Come join us in person for this really special program. We've got with us, Sally Cox. Some of you met her. She spoke on my show on Saturday night. She's staying right here in Tiburon. And many of us know what Diane Fossey did for the mountain gorillas. We all know what Jane Goodall did for the chimps. Well, Sally's the next generation, and she's doing it for bonobos. And bonobos are this amazing form of ape. They are maternal. They are a matriarchal society. They don't fight, they don't war. When there's a conflict, they encourage everybody, all the different apes, to make love with each other. And they share their food with each other. And they really are a model of a matriarchal society. And whereas patriarchal chimp tribes are violent, they will attack other tribes. The matriarchal bonobos never attack. So we're going to learn all about that tomorrow night. Now, of course, most of you can't come to the Sunrise Center. So, of course, I have created a Zoom room link where you can come in and join us on Zoom. I did send it out in an email yesterday. I'm also going to send it out in another email um, tomorrow. But I also want to put the link into the chat box for all of you right now. So please do join us tomorrow for it's at 7 p.m. There is a $5 donation that we're asking, and here's the link. And for those of you that register and pay the $5, you will also get a recording of the program. So you get to come into the Zoom room tomorrow night. I'll be hosting it. You can ask questions of Sally and, of course, interact in the Zoom room. If you can't make it, or even if you do, you'll also get a recording of her presentation. So please join us. And I'm going to put the link into the chat box right now.
Scott, you forgot to mention the most important part is that meager, that little bitty $5 which may be big to some people, goes to saving the bonobo. It goes to her work. It doesn't go to like some magical fund that pays your rent. It goes to getting more bonobos saved from going extinct.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah,
So even if you can't go, donate.
Yeah, they have a huge reserve that they've created in the Congo, which is where the bonobos live. Are you going to be there in person tomorrow, Anasuya?
Do you have a car? I mean, you going to pick me up? You pick me up.
We'll arrange that. We'll talk about that. Actually, ironically,
Okay.
I don't have a car right now either. So, but we'll find a ride for you. Let's talk about it privately.
Perfect.
Okay. So, please do join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'm going to turn it over to beloved brother Omashar. He's got a couple of announcements, and then I'll come back. Take it away, brother.
Yes, indeed. I do have two announcements. The first one is on Friday morning, 8:45. I am playing 3 or 4 songs to start this amazing free morning session with Steve Farrell called Beyond Limits. And it starts at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time with moi, and then it goes into his 2-hour session. And so please, I'll put the chat in the chat, the link to this, but come and join us. It sounds like a great session. He's such a wisdom keeper, and he's sharing his knowledge free, which is a great thing. And so for those of us on YouTube and Facebook, it's humanitiesteam.org. and you click Beyond Limits and sign up for that. So that's my one little plug. And my second plug, which is really important, and this is in alignment with Unity Earth and Hubcast, basically on 8/8 for 24 hours, based in out of Australia, there's this program in which I'll be playing music throughout the day, but there's all of these different nodes around the world, including Ramail and Noreen from the Peace Cafe in Pakistan, who are going to be presenting during the 24 hours. And you can join in at any time and you can become a node. But anyway, register on this page. For those on Facebook and YouTube, put in peace.intruth.io, peace.intruth.io, and you'll come up with this amazing opportunity for us to reach. They did it in 2020, just before the pandemic, and they reached about, I think, 20,000 people. 100,000 people, there it is. And this year they're putting it out to gather 1 million people together to hold a space of peace and measure it with technology. It's an amazing thing. There's no way I can share it all now, but Ben Bowler and Unity Earth and Pitch Hub and all these people that are all affiliated with the Global Peace Tribe are a part of it. So I'll put those two things in the chat box for us here. And thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. I always like to let people know what we've got coming up. Then we're going to go to prayer time, and then we're going to go to Omashar for a closing song. But while we're on our announcements, this Saturday night, it's going to be connecting. Whoops, wrong one. I've got two there. Whoops, they both went down. Uh-oh. Let's try that again. This Saturday night, we have an evening with 4 wise women. Boy, this is being. Are you guys seeing that? Are you seeing an evening with 4 wise women?
Yes,
Okay.
no.
Okay, great. My computer's doing a funny thing. Each one of these women is really quite extraordinary. Linda Starr-Wolf has been on the show before. She's going to lead a beautiful shamanic journey. Rihanna Skywalker is going to talk to us about the extraordinary astrology that is happening right now. Some of you have probably heard about it. Anadea Judith has a beautiful new program she's launching. And all 3 of those ladies have been on before, but we have somebody else, Cassandra Vitan. She was on briefly when we did our Evolutionary Leaders Circle show when Omashar and I were in Santa Fe last month. And she's an amazing woman who ran IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, for 9 years. And so truly an evening with 4 wise women. And the other program that's coming up exactly 1 week from tonight, every year, our beloved Diara puts together a show celebrating World Interfaith Awareness Week. And she's brought on some of her wonderful friends. And Diara, do you want to share a little bit about this?
Sure, thank you. Last year we got to meet Reverend Abigail and Steve Albert. We got to witness the growth of the Poway Interfaith team and how it's grown worldwide. And we had presenters the whole first week of August, presenters from all around the world sharing their different peace and interfaith work. So we're highlighting a few people on Wednesday night and then also offering the whole menu to our Global Peace Tribe like we did last year. So you can fill your calendars for that first week of August this year as well, 10th anniversary.
Looking forward to that. And I'm going to keep the camera on Diara as she leads our prayer time.
Thank you, Scott. As always, such a rich bounty of love and energy tonight. And I'm also aware of what Mary Magdalene brought through Dr. Melissa in the sense of many of us have been carrying the current. And I know I'm experiencing some waves of fatigue tonight that are unusual. And so I want to honor that and honor anyone else who might be needing a burst of energy, a burst of the love that's here, remembering our divinity. Christy, that was so beautiful, the presentation you gave us, just all that's been shared in our chat. And I love that, we are Hugh Vine. We're divine humans, divine human and women, and blending our well, that's perfectly human parts of ourselves with our higher selves that know only love. And a special prayer for all those experiencing addictions, any of our loved ones experiencing addictions. There were some beautiful shares in our chat around the victory and still the struggle as we, as Scott says, as light beings move through this dense world. And we often choose ways to manage that sometimes deplete us. And so filling our divine coffers with love and light tonight, and just breathing that in, feeling our spirits rise, our bodies respond. Any ways that we might be weary in spirit and body, in mind, receiving the love that we all pour into this room that spreads out through all the streaming platforms, all the replays, and all those receiving it without even knowing that they're receiving this beautiful dose of love and light. A special prayer tonight for our beloved Terry Russo, who's been having difficulty joining us in our Zoom room. We were talking about caretakers, those who give care. Scotty put into our messenger chat page music that he's created to help buoy the spirits of caretakers, and sending that love back out to you, Scotty. And just blessing all the peace workers, the peacemakers. I love that screaming peace. And I put in, the wind screams Mary, Mary Magdalene, the wind screams peace. Just blending all that music in with the divine love, the music in our souls, the music from the all. And we're asking now for all our pores to be open, all our essences to be open to receive more of this divine light that's pouring through on this feast of love, the true nature of the divine woman, the divine Mary, the divine men, divine Yeshua, honoring each other, anointing each other. And we know that this magnitude, this amazing, amazing grace of love and light, this exponential burst of truth, changes for all the generations to come, just like in Christie's book for her grandchildren, all our grandchildren. And we welcome all those children watching from beyond the veil, inviting them down to partake in this river, this sea of love that's being created. And so just breathing in as you pour into the chat, into the room, anything that your heart desires to bring forward in this place of peace and plenty, and feeling those vibrations ripple through our bodies, replenishing, regenerating, rejoicing, rejuvenating. And so it is.
Gonna go to gallery view, and we always do 2 minutes of silence for you to put prayers forward for anything that's in your heart. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your presence. I also want to acknowledge, I think we had more chat room comments tonight than ever before. I could not keep track. They were flying so fast. And so it just goes to show what a powerful topic this is. And if any of you want a copy of the chat box, go in and save it because there's a lot going on. And I'll also copy it and send it to you, Christy and Diana, Dan, Melissa. Take care, everybody. And we're turning it over to our beloved Omashar to close us out.
Holy Mother, my heart longs to be free. Holy Mother, dissolve me into thee. Holy Mother, please purify my mind. Holy Mother, let me feel your love divine. Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, hold my hand within your hand. Holy Mother, let me feel all that I am. Holy Mother, you are rising through my heart. Holy Mother, I know we will never part. Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, my heart longs to be free. Holy Mother, dissolve me into thee. One more time. Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Mother, hold my hand within your hand. Holy Mother, let me feel all that I am.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, perfect song, as
Yeah.
always.
Giving gratitude to Kathy Zavada for having written that one.
God bless you, Kathy, wherever you may be.
Ashland.
Ashland, of course. Lots of good things happening in Ashland. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Big thank you to those watching the recording, the replay. You're all part of our hearts. Have a beautiful few days, and I hope to see all of you on Saturday night for an evening with 4 wise women. God's blessings, everybody. Take care, and happy Magdalene Feast Day. May the spirit of Sophia, whatever that means to each and every one of us, may we experience it in our own unique way.
And I blow out the candle that Anasuya gave me to let the smoke carry your prayers up to the ancestors.
I love that. Beautiful. Perfect.